Well, looks like we're still here. No second inquisition or camera fucks knocking at our door. Looks like the secrets they so desperately try to keep hidden will just have to be shared. Tonight, my fellow citizens of the blood, we here at the Red Question are going to peel back the layers and reveal the truth behind the rise and the downfall of SCHRECKNET. SCHRECKNET, the once go-to kindred means of communication, now just a distant memory and a stain on a clan's reputation. Brought down in just one night by a bunch of mortals waving guns and religious babble. Back in the neon-soaked 80s, our kindred ancestors stumbled across something big. Artnet. The embryonic version of the internet that had been created by the Department of Defense to facilitate long-range computer networking with national defense purposes. Or the internet's awkward first baby steps. Whatever makes you sleep better during the day. The Nosferatus, being the sneaky fucks they are, decided it would be advantageous to piggyback onto it and named the network SCHRECKNET, after the actor Max Schreck, who played Count Orlok in the greatest fuck you to the Masquerade ever created, the film titled Nosferatu. SCHRECKNET 1.0 was Uncle Smelly's brainchild, built for the Nosferatu eyes only. It was a Batcave for sharing secrets, gathering intel, and plotting in the dark away from prying canny eyes. No more pigeon shit stained clothes for the Nos. The Nosferatu weren't the only ones busy at this time. Dragon's Net was created off the back of a feud between vampires that saw the creation of a massive spy network when one of them had woken up after a sore defeat and wanted some more intel. This network would later be known as Warwick's Web, before eventually being brought into the fold of SCHRECKNET. Sorry lads, but SCHRECKNET just sounded better. Access to SCHRECKNET was not limited to camera-aligned Nosferatu, but was open to the Nosferatu anti-tribute as well. During the Camarilla siege of the Sabbat-occupied New York, the Nosferatu grudgingly gave other Camarilla clans limited access to SCHRECKNET, plus a warning to the New York Nos to get the fuck out of town. This was the start of its downfall, as it allowed other clans a means to plot about how they could still control or ultimately destroy SCHRECKNET. Then lo and behold, in the early 90s, a hacker came along named Hurricane and busted SCHRECKNET wide open. This unidentified kindred, who we at the Red Question like to call Tremere Technomancer, was welcomed into the underbelly of SCHRECKNET, and in turn opened the doors to tech-savvy kindred like me. This subculture of vampires would influence the formation of us, the Red Question, and the creation of new kindred-only networks like Solomon's Haven. Okay, let's fast forward to the 2000s, and SCHRECKNET got a makeover. SCHRECKNET 2.0. No more clunky nonsense. This time it was a full-blown application suite designed for secure kindred communication. The Tremere worked their Harry Potter magic and added features that hid things from mortal eyes, requiring the use of Auspex to see them, or were automatically visible to anyone using the secure SCHRECKNET browser. The Red Question, Digital Draculas, hacktivist thematigists, we all poured our creativity into SCHRECKNET. We integrated it into vampire society and their social networks and crafted websites where only kindred dared tread. Filthbook, Garbage and Tender, to name but a few that came out of this era of creative freedom. The kindred running SCHRECKNET received significant boons from the inner circle, as some of them started to see the value of what we were doing, but others saw their grip of the narrative being taken away. We believe it was during this time that backdoors and kill codes were added and hidden away in SCHRECKNET. I mean, fuck it, I had a couple swirled away in there just in case. But whoever put those ones in didn't want to dent SCHRECKNET. They wanted to destroy it and bring everyone who was involved in it down with it. So how did it happen? How did SCHRECKNET fall? The simple answer is the trigger got pulled. The chessboard pieces started to move, and the loss of SCHRECKNET was a means to blind the masses and cover up one massive antediluvian power play. I mean, Just look at the events that played out. Hardestadt, the vengeful golden boy and arguably the leader of the whole Camarilla set, was assassinated, destabilizing the Camarilla and swelling the ranks of the Anarchs. Look how much chaos has been caused by a whisper into an impressionable ear. The Tremere High Chantry and all the Tremere leadership, magical lore and artifacts were destroyed in an event so big the backlash completely rewrote the Tremere curse. They held too much power and started to know too much. The entire city of London was purged of all its vampire population. Mithras' goal for true immortality snatched up and all traces of it removed. Oh, we'll get to that secret later. The elder vampires of all sects are being drawn to the Middle East by, let's just face it, an antediluvian. Thin bloods are popping up at an alarming rate. They're inventing their own disciplines and some of them can even walk in the sun. And the Nosferatu, the eyes and ears, the main form of communication across all sects, has SCHRECKNET taken away from them overnight. Someone gave the Second Inquisition the kill codes for not only SCHRECKNET but for the power play that overnight blinded kindred society and created absolute chaos. What do you think the chaos is hiding? And more importantly, my fellow citizens of the blood, why do you obey?